Nice to see you online. All right. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And very good morning to everyone. A very warm welcome from Business Innovation and Technology Commercialization Center, BITCOM, University Technology Mara, Malaysia, to our distinguished guests and also participants for today. My name is Muhammad Sufri bin Mastuli, and I will be your moderator for today. On behalf of the organizing committee, we would like to extend our warm welcome to all. We appreciate you taking your times off during your busy schedules to join us for today. For everyone information, this online webinar will start with sharing session by our invited speaker and followed by question and answer session at the end. To the participants, if you have any questions, please drop your comments in our Zoom apps, and I will read accordingly later at the end of these sharing sessions. Ladies and gentlemen, we are very honored this morning to have our Managing Director Nomatech Sdn Bhd, yang berbahagia Professor Dr. Wickneswari Ratnam, who will be sharing with us on the webinar series entitled Journey to Commercialization, Translating Innovation into Business. Before we start off, I would like to introduce our speaker for today. I got a very long CV in impressive, but I would like to summarize it I would summarize it. Professor Dr. Wickneswari Ratnam is a professor of plant genetics in biotechnology in Department of Biological Science and Biotechnology, Faculty of Science and Technology, University Kebangsaan Malaysia. She also a fellow of the Academy of Science Malaysia. Her expertise is on plant genetics and biotechnology for over 36 years. Professor Wickneswari secured many research grants at national and international level. She published more than 135 journals, more than 100 proceedings, 4 books, and 13 books chapter with Scopus citation of 1,902 and H index of 24, as well as a Google Scholar citation 3,691 and H index of 31. Professor Wickneswari serves as an expert in consultants for many projects throughout her career, and she won many awards for various recognition. In terms of postgraduate student supervision, she completely supervised 7 postdoc students, 25 PhD students, 35 master students. Ongoing is 1 PhD student. Currently, Professor Wickneswari owns a total of 8 patents, with 6 of them on plant varieties of rice and several patents still pending on lignin genes. The latest patent she obtains in year 2020, entitled Transient Transformation Method using Acacia Mexium germinating seedling with agrobacterium thermophis. Oh, very hard. I'm a chemistry one. This is a biological one. Carrying selected microRNA related to lignin compositions. Okay, Prof. Without further ado, I would like to invite yang berbahagia Professor Dr. Wickneswari Ratnam to deliver a talk. Please welcome, Prof.
Thank you very much, Inche Sufri, okay, from BITCOM. Very delighted to be here to share my experience and also my challenges, and also, there's always many failures before you have reached all your success. And I would like to take the opportunity to thank Dr. Fazlina Hamza, she's here, Deputy Director BITCOM, for kindly inviting me for this session. So I will start with share the screen for my slides. Who's disabled sharing screen? Can you enable sharing screen for me, please?
Okay, I will. Okay, I will check.
Can you let me know when it's enabled? I see we have about 59 participants.
Wait a moment, Prof. Wait a moment.
Okay. 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 Okay.
Okay, Ken. Okay, sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Okay,
Prof.
right. Okay. Can you see my slides? Boleh ya? Can see my slides?
Yeah, sure, Ken. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So actually, this is the original title that was given to me, and then I negotiated for a title with a lesser scope, but then we maintain the earlier title, translating innovation into business worldwide. Okay, I think you have it as business. So I think whatever innovations we do in Malaysia should be applicable globally. Okay, and we should also position ourselves to export the process or products or services worldwide. So we should look at the bigger picture because the market in Malaysia is small. We are a small country with about 32 million people only. So we should position our innovations to reach international standards and international market. So we start with actually challenges in the lab because we are taking research to the market, from lab to market. So we look at the challenges that we face in the lab when we come up with research proposal to form for solutions, real solutions. So here actually we start with a research problem. I think all of you, either your students or lecturers or UITM, when you propose projects for funding, we start with a research problem. So we should make sure that the research problem that we are solving through science technology, STI, is actually has got national and market relevance if you want the product to reach the market. So the research should be able, I'll share how we did it. But here, what I want to emphasize is we need to find solutions for problems. That's why we do research. It can be a fundamental problem. It can be an applied research problem. And it can be something that can enhance productivity or enhance quality of life also. It can be a social problem, medical problem, environmental problem, or agriculture, but depend on the sector. So it has to be a research problem. You want to use science and technology to solve it. So it should have market relevance and also must be relevant to the nation or have global relevance. Next is the, forming your, when you write a proposal, you need to have a team. So the research team is very critical. The project leader and the team must be able to work together harmoniously and able to solve. So the team should ideally comprise of experts who have complementary, experience or knowledge to solve the problem. So usually if a research problem will have many disciplines to solve it, it's multidisciplinary in nature. So the team must reflect that. So that's important. And once you have done the research, then you have to file for IP if you want to take it to the market. But before you file for IP, you have to make sure that the finding is novel. So it's something new findings, not the same. You're not validating something, but new findings. Only novel findings can be, protected for their intellectual property. So this filing has to be done. So this is a process involved. So the filing of IP can take in different forms. IP can be a patent, IP can be a new plant variety, IP can be a trade secret, IP can be a design, industrial design, IP can be a copyright. And so these are the different types of IP that you can file. Okay, all need to be filed. Okay. So the problem that we were trying to solve in the commercialization that I have embarked on is issue related to paddy and rice industry. Yeah? So in the paddy and rice industry in Malaysia, we find that the yield of paddy is rather low in Malaysia. So these are some of the statistics. You need to have statistics. So we've been planting rice for a very, very long time, maybe 10 decades, okay? So, but our yield is still low. So we have only reached very marginally increased the yield, only by one part. It has actually dropped over the years. So our paddy yield actually has dropped. This is the average yield from 2015 until 2020. You see it's dropping. This is largely because due to increase in pest diseases and also to not so good practices of paddy farming. So we have in paddy, we have two seasons that we grow in Malaysia. One is the main season, and then there is the off season. The main season usually is September to February, whereas the off season is from April to say about August. So we find that the yields in both the season, there's a slight difference, mainly due to the photo period and also due to the or sunshine hours and also due to the rain. So you see that in the off season, sometimes you usually get higher yield compared to the main season here. We call the main season. So now we have varieties that can be grown in both seasons. Usually in earlier times, varieties were only grown in one season because they were photo period sensitive. So here we are trying to address how to increase yield. Okay, and as I mentioned, one of the main reasons for the low yield, besides having new varieties with higher yield, is a low resistance towards diseases, which we say how to address the yield gap. So there's a gap. The potential of the variety is there to produce high yield, but then it is affected by the diseases, which can reduce the yield. So the other market problem that I would like to so you find that, sorry. So some of the problem solutions that we are addressing actually come up with new paddy varieties, and these new paddy varieties can help increase yield where they have higher yield performance. And these new paddy varieties also have durable resistance to diseases. Besides that, since we want to produce rice which is nutritious, we can produce through breeding rice which is nutritious, has got low glycemic index. Low glycemic index rice is slowly digested, and it is very suitable for controlling weight, body weight, and also for some patients or individuals with diabetics. It's very much easier to control your after meal blood glucose levels because this rice is digested slowly. And the other parameters are like high fiber, high zinc, and high iron. So these are some of the attributes that can be realized through having new rice varieties. Okay, so this is a solution that we are trying to address through research. So we use varieties, donor lines, which have high fiber or high zinc or high iron or low in GI, and then we cross them with mega varieties which have got high yield. So then you combine traits for yield and also for health traits, including traits, agronomic traits for resistance to diseases and also abiotic stress. So the new varieties that we have IP'd or registered for white rice lines, UKM-ASEAN 2, 3, 4, and 8. And we also have produced red rice, which is where the brand is red in color here. This is the white rice and this is the red. And we have two red rice varieties, which is UKM-ASEAN 9 and 10. These were all realized through backcross breeding for more than 6 years. So we did this breeding program under a top-down project funded by MOSTI to increase yield using wild rice crossed with cultivated rice. And these are the breed, high yielding lines that we produce from that research, and we have taken it to the market. So the ones that are highlighted in blue color are the ones which we have commercialized so far. Okay, and so this took a long process, which involved registration for filing for IP as new plant variety, which took us almost 5 years. And after which we have to do the field evaluation for local variety trials. We call it LVT, verification trials, to get approval from Ministry of Agriculture and Food and Industries to produce these rice varieties to commercially. Okay, so it's a process involved which took another 4 years. So we were only able to release these varieties in 2018 onwards, even though the research was started in 2001. So that's another important aspect that we need to take into consideration. It's continuity and patience and able to have continuous resources to do the research, to follow through with human resources also. So having realized the new plant variety is not the end, IP is not the end, it's the beginning journey for commercialization. So once you have filed for IP and obtained the IP, then there are many other challenges that you face in commercialization. So commercialization and IP takes many routes, okay, many routes. You can license your IP, okay, or you can monetize it through filing for royalty, getting royalty from licensing agreements, or you can take the product to the market yourself. Okay, so you need to have a good team to do the commercialization, and the team needs money. So funding is essential. So you need to form the team. The team normally will be very small. The inventor and also the maybe a co-founder. Then you look for funding, which is available to do your POC or proof of concept. So this has to be done. This is what I mentioned. After IP, you get your IP, you have to do a POC to take it to the market. So once you got your POC done, you have to also see the market accepts your product or your process, your service. So you have to do like a market acceptance study of your product or service. Then you need to look for market access and also the regulatory issues that are needed to bring the product to the market or service to the market. So need to study all the how do you bring it through the market, either is through which authority. So we need to understand that and comply with the regulatory issues and get the approvals. Then the next stage is actually how you scale up with your supply for your consumers and to your retailers and your consumers. So this is a continuous process. Either upscaling is in terms of volume, and also at the same time you have to ensure that the quality of the product or service is still maintained. So it requires good monitoring and closely monitoring the product or service, use it with your team and also with your strategic partners. So you also funding first starts for POC aspect, but later on for you to upscale, you also need investors. So we need to like pitch your business plan to investors who are interested in startups to come to invest in your company. So this investment can be from individuals or from corporations or from other companies also. So it's a continuous process. So you don't, once you get your IP, doesn't mean you just commercialize and you get your revenue, but then from the revenue, you build new ideas and new IPs to make it sustainable. Okay, so it's a continuous process and involves great commitment. So I share with you my team here, Nomatech team. We just have 2 directors, myself and Puan Sharifah Nur Rahima alias, who's also the head of business development. And I have 4 staff with me. 1 to handle the marketing, Mr. Kenny, who does the marketing for us. And then we have Puan Kunia, who is our technology officer, because as I mentioned, we have to do continuous R&D for our product and also quality check. So we have Puan Kunia for that. And then we have for upscaling, we have Inje Nuhairis, who works closely with contract farmers and the millers to make sure that they follow our SOP for production. And I have also engaged a staff to manage the admin and also the finance together for bookkeeping. So here you will notice that even though we are commercializing rice varieties, we don't have rice field, we don't rice. So what we do is we don't have a manufacturing facility. So we have strategic partners upstream, which is the farmers and the millers, and then we have strategic partners also downstream for processing, for packaging, distribution, and also downstream discovery of new products which can be produced from this raw material. Okay, whether it's the white rice or red rice that we are commercializing. So for now, we are focusing quite a lot on the red rice, because the red rice we are handling the whole value chain from the seed production to the rice. Whereas for the white rice, the business model is different, where we produce the seeds and then we license the seeds to seed producers, who then multiply and then sell it to the farmers. So that's a different model for different products. So the real challenges is in commercializing any IP is actually to get the trust. You need to get the trust that your product is good, your service is good. So in our case, the stakeholders, you need to know your stakeholders for your IP. So in this case, which is the new plant variety of rice, it is the farmers, government agency at a very early stage. So during the POC stage, we are already engaged with all stakeholders who are involved in the rice industry. And also another challenge that we faced was the lack of reference or guideline for regulatory compliances for new paddy varieties, largely because most of majority of the new rice varieties planted by farmers was produced by Mardi. So when a university researchers produce new varieties, we are at a loss of how to do it. And these materials on the guidelines are not readily available. So it was quite challenging. So we had to use our good networking skills, which is very important in commercialization, to be able to source all these materials, which was made available finally. Okay. So we also have other aspects in commercialization, especially with paddy new varieties, or even for other IPs, changes in government policies, which can affect your agreements with your licensees. So this is another aspect. You need to able to have, make sure that you have many avenues or many choices when you do your commercialization. So don't burn any bridges with anyone. There'll be many failures. Actually, we went through many failures when we partnered with upstream or downstream partners, strategic partners. Some failed, some succeeded. So we work with those who succeed. And if they fail, then we find new partners. So that's the process. Don't give up. So for us, another challenge that we faced was, as I mentioned, that's now you want to take product to the international market, you need export permit. So first, depending on your product, we didn't know that actually for rice earlier, that it cannot be exported. There were some policies that prohibit export of rice, but then there was changes in the policy, which actually favored export of healthy or specialty rice, not the white rice, because Malaysia, as I mentioned very earlier in the presentation, we don't have enough rice, we don't produce enough rice for the population. We are only self-sufficient to around 70%, and 30% is imported. So we don't want to export the rice that is produced in Malaysia, except for specialty rice. We can export because we are importing the specialty rice. So we actually can export healthy or specialty rice with approval from Ministry of Agriculture and Food Industries. The other hurdle that we face is in commercialization is getting approval for large-scale farming. Pilot-scale farming is not an issue, but when you want to expand your area of planting, you need to get approval from the authorities. So this also was time-consuming to convince the authorities through risk assessment, both at the technical and also the economic levels. So this also we managed to secure after about 3 to 4 years. So all this takes time before you actually can full-scale production. So there are also other real challenges, like, recently we were all affected by the COVID pandemic, which where we had restrictions on travel, which actually was not in favor for us to attend overseas expos or to travel to close deals with export buyers from overseas. So that was also another issue that we faced. Some of our travels were restricted and we were not allowed to participate. So we need to meet people to be able to close deals. And the pandemic also affected us in such, because of labor shortage. You know that we were not able to get our foreign labor for the agriculture industry and also manufacturing. So that also affected the rice quality and rice yield. So these are some of the real challenges, but slowly we are overcoming it. So the two rice varieties, as I mentioned, which were commercialized, is UKMRC 2 and 8, launched by the minister in February 2019, and then we licensed it to Madakop to produce the seed, and then farmers can then buy the seeds for planting. So this is a continuous challenge where we have to produce good quality breeder seed for production of foundation registered and certified seeds. It's a continuous process. It's not a one-time thing. Okay. And the other variety which I mentioned, which is a red rice, which we position is as a complete rice for health, which is UKM RC9 of Primera. You can learn more about it if you go to our website, primerarice.com. We show with you all the health benefits of this rice. So this rice, through our partnership with our distributor, we were able to place this rice in all the major hypermarkets and retail outlets. The list is here. Actually, it's more. We just list some of the major ones for retail outlets, more than 1,200 here outlets, both online and also online platforms like Shopee, Lazada. Okay. And besides that, we are aggressively promoting this rice to F&B producers, food and beverage industry. And so far we have, this rice is taken up by Rice and More and also BMF Organics. We have signed agreements to supply our rice to them, and also to Kenny Rogers, who uses the rice in 2 of their menus. And this product by Rice and More, you have here the range of products shown here, which is available in most of the hypermarkets, especially Jaya Grocer. So we have also, as I mentioned, we need to have new investments. We were able to pitch in Singapore and managed to have an investor from Japan who's based with an office in Singapore, locally. Singapore has invested in Nomatech, Senjabarat. These are our Japanese partners, investors. Okay. So this is a small investment, but we have to continuously pursue this to increase our paid up capital for the company to have a good cash flow. So these are some of the products that can be produced from the red rice, like pasta. Already we have done experimentally this one with the F&B chef who has produced this. Then we have also a company that has produced this red rice noodles, rice-based drinks. We have bulk purchases of this rice by OEM companies who produce this rice-based drinks for different food producers. Rice powder, we are experimenting, especially as a baby food. We are still experimenting this one. And we can also produce this gluten-free bread from this red rice. It's the best rice, according to the chef, to produce this. He tried many different rices and he found that Primera red rice was most suitable to produce this gluten-free bread, which is now becoming popular in cafes. There's a company that has produced gluten-free biscuit also from this red rice. So we have many F&B companies which we need to explore further to increase our sale of this rice. So for the funding part, as I mentioned, we need funding. So these are the funding we had secured from different sources to be able to commercialize this product. So this is a continuous effort also. So we had funding from Platcom. We call it CCGF, Concept to Commercialization Gap Fund. So this was the first fund that we secured through Platcom Ventures under Agensi Inovasi Malaysia, which is now obsolete. So we got this first funding, and then we moved on after succeeding it and completing it successfully. We moved on to CRDF2, which is the MTDC fund matching grant. all are matching grant actually from MTDC, which is still ongoing. Okay, actually still ongoing. Sorry, this is until December 2022. Then we have currently continuous R&D being done through a MOSTI grant, where we are looking at how this red rice, if replaced with white rice, can help with diet management for patients with diabetes. So this is also ongoing. Sorry about the date. This goes to August 2023. And then we have the NTIS or NTIS fund, which we got for expansion of our cultivation area. So this is completed. So revenue from the company so far from the years, so you can see you need to build it up. So we have been increased from, we started in end of 2015. So I start with 2016 onwards. So we're slowly building up. So we, as I said, paid up capital initially was only 10,000, then we moved it to 250 to secure the funding. For funding also, different funders require different criteria for the company, depending on the paid up capital. So they want commitment from the shareholders of the company before they can provide funding. So sometimes we have increased more than the paid up capital. So now we are going up. Okay. So this is just the revenue. Expenses is also going up. So we need to look at together. So I think with that, I think we can open for questions. Thank you so much for listening. I shared with you my experience. Okay. And some general guidelines. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much, Prof, for the sharing sessions. Okay, I would like open the Q&A to the participant. Any questions from the floor? Okay, Prof, there is one question on the from the Zooms. Hi, Prof. Is Nomatech's Neighborhood is a spin-off company of UKM? Is the path easier? Is a spin-off company or otherwise? Thank you from Encik Shahril. Is your company is spin-off company of UKM?
Wait, let me stop. Shall I have I stopped sharing?
Yeah. Okay.
I need to bring this back. Wait a moment. I don't see it. How do I do this? I'm not seeing everyone. Wait. What happened to me? How do I wait? I need to expand it. Okay, just to answer that, it's not a spin-off company. It's an independent company. It's a Syndrome Heart company. It was not part of UKM or UKM, what do you call it? UKM Tech. It's not a spin-off company. It's a Syndrome Heart company. And this company has it started with 2 shareholders. So I'm one of the shareholders and also the inventor. So usually if you want to have your own company, actually some company was started 2015. We had an earlier experience of not being able to commercialize this product when we license it. So there are many routes to commercializing IP. You can license your technology or your product to an existing company who's interested to take up the licensing. So we tried that, but it didn't work. So then we realized that it's better to have a startup company where the inventor is involved to bring the product to the market. So we follow all the the regulations or rules that need to be abide by the authorities. So it's not spin-off.
All right. Any other questions regarding the talk for today? So, Prof, there is any issue because your company is the independent company,
Yes.
and then in the same times you also the professor in the UKM,
Yeah.
and then you secured many grants funding your projects related to the commercializations. So
Yes.
any issue in terms of income generations or any conflicts in terms of interest? Because it's look like independent company, yeah.
Yes, independent company. So whatever funding we secure goes to the company, not to the university. So it's a company, because company gets the grant, whether it's a MOSTI grant, MPTC grant, or the platform grant, the company gets it. Because it's a matching grant, it's a matching grant. So the company has to put in some amount of money, and then the funder will provide that.
Oh, okay, understand.
So as I mentioned, you need to get clearance. If you are still in the university and want to have a startup company, there is no what do you call it, rule that says that you can't. You are actually encouraged to take your product to the market yourself, if you can manage. Not everybody can do it, because you got to manage with your academic plus your entrepreneur what do you call it, obligations you have to manage. If you can manage without jeopardizing anything, or you can manage well, then it's fine.
Okay.
But you need the approval from the head of institution.
Since the income is straight away to the company, the independent company, so meaning that your company has to pay some kind of royalty to the UKM or not?
Yes, we have an agreement with the UKM to pay licensing fee for the IP and plus royalty.
Okay, Prof.
So we negotiate the licensing fee and the royalty with the university, with the investment arm of the university lah.
Okay. Any questions from the rest? Okay. One question from Cheryl as well. Do you need to find the other shareholder yourself, or was it introduced to you by the investor?
No, we find ourselves. Shareholder, we find ourselves.
Okay. Okay, Prof.
Because we were together, so we actually, my shareholder is from a spin-off company. So in my case, my shareholder was from a spin-off company from UKM, and my shareholder was handling my IP. Then we said, why don't we form a company together to bring this product to the market? So it's, the inventor, they need to decide the main.
Okay.
Because I think like research team or even commercialization, your team, you have to identify your members yourself who can work with you. Very important.
Okay. Okay, Prof. One more question from me, I think. What is the advantage to have the spin-off company under the university versus to have independent company? Why you choose independent instead of spin-off company under the university?
No, because the university didn't want to bear the expenses, you know, no? They don't want to be responsible. They don't want to bear. So it's better to have an independent company. There was no invitation to form a spin-off anyway.
Oh, okay.
Now they all encourage pemula, start a company, you form yourself. based
Okay.
on innovations from the university. Yeah.
Okay. One question from Dr. Fazlin, I think. How much OPEX at initial start of the company?
How many? Sorry?
How much OPEX? Is it OPEX?
OPEX.
OPEX
Oh, because
to start the company.
initially we don't take any salary. We directors don't take anything. Initially is the dry period, initially maybe the first 3 years, the revenue is only what we get is to proof of concept. We have a lot of expenses, right? For the to take the product to the market, there's always all expenses only. So initially we don't pay ourselves. We just do all the work. It's like that. If you want to have, because since I'm already working, I have another income, so it's not an issue.
Okay.
Later, when the company was generating revenue, then we look at the company's cash flow, and then we say, okay, how much we can take allowance, and then we have all the staff to be employed also, which we have to make payment.
Okay, Prof. Under your company, it's look like you only you is a researcher. If you have any question regarding the product or technology default during the commercialization, how do you overcome the issue?
Okay. On the product commercialization, I mean the product itself, if there is any complaint from the consumer, we go to our partner, strategic partner who's doing the packaging, who's doing the distribution or the manufacturing. They will help answer it. Okay. Say we have produced the rice, right? We did receive 1 or 2 complaints now, or they say they found a stone in the bag. Okay. So we go back to the who did the packaging. Then we get the answer from them, and then we explain to the consumer.
Okay.
They are responsible. We have agreement with them.
All right. Okay, understand. Okay, anyone, for those who would like to ask question directly with Prof, you can do so. You can on your microphone and camera. Anyone? Old friend of Prof, I think someone said long time not see. Yeah, long time not see Prof. Muhammad Hanis. Muhammad Hanis, are you here?
Oh, Muhammad.
Maybe you have
Hanis.
Hanis, yeah. Maybe
can
Hanis,
you show yourself?
Yeah, long time to see. So now it's a time to see online. You have any question?
Muhammad Hanis.
Mama Hanis?
Where's Mama Hanis? I don't see him.
Yes, bro. I'm.
Where?
Where are you?
Oh, Hanis. Sufri. Hanis. Where's Hanis?
Can you see, bro?
Hanis, can you open your? You already open your cam?
Yes.
Where are you? Because maybe I don't see everybody. You want to put gallery on.
Yes, Prof. You can change your what we said, the template. You can see everyone.
Put speaker, now I can see. Where's Hanis? Hanis, yeah.
Yes, bro.
Yeah, how are you?
Just fine. Yeah.
So sorry, you were with UKM?
Yes, during my masters. Under Arus Perdana grant, Prof.
Under?
Arus Perdana grant.
Oh, okay. All right. So how are you in UITM?
So far so good.
Okay, it's very challenging. You see, sometimes you feel like giving up, but then you say, you spend so much of your research on this. But initially, when we undertook the research, we never thought we were going to produce some new variety, honestly. Because all researchers, our aim is to produce graduate students and also successfully, either master's or PhD plus publication. Then we stop there. We don't take to the next level. Is very challenging, actually. Very. Someone asked me who pays for the startup paid up capital, who pays? So I told the researchers, if you want to take product to the market, you better save some money, yeah, because you have to pay for your company. Yeah, you have to start. We started with 10,000 actually. Then we managed to increase it to 250. Now it's 257. So we want to continue. We need looking for investor actually.
Okay, one question from Mr. Hanes. Since the company is independent, where is the R&D done afterwards?
Good question. So we have a very long-term MOU and MOA with UKM. And also, if you go to our Nomatech website, we have many, clients, like Unimas, Inbiosis, University Malaya, where they use our material for their research. So we have like a material transfer agreement with them, where they will provide the results to us. So the R&D we leverage on the research institutions and universities. We ourselves don't do it except for some very which manageable, like measuring the resistance starch of the rice, which we did ourselves. And we have also invested in some equipment which will help us to make sure that the quality of the seeds produced is high. So we have certain investments in R&D, but the R&D itself is done by researchers. So we have partnership like the MOSTE grant. It's a 90-10 matching grant, and all the money that comes to Nomatech goes back to the service provider. We're actually helping research institutes and universities to secure grants which have commercial, immediate commercial application.
Okay, all right. Any questions from the audience? Any more questions? I think last question from me, I think you have shared about several funding that fund your project. Do we have any loan provider instead of funding from the government?
No, we don't have. We have loan provider from the bank.
From the bank.
As I mentioned, all these grants are matching grant, and these grants are usually you need to spend first and then you claim. So we need funds. So we have a loan from the bank. We have bank loans. Yeah, there are certain banks that provide such loans. Yeah, you need to source, and you have to also apply, and not easy also.
Oh, okay. One last question, I think, from Dr. Fazlin. What is your advice to researcher in terms of commercialization of products? Because from your talk, I think over the service 36 years, you just, the first patents was published on 2009, and then your company started in 2016. It meaning that it takes so long time to commercialize the product. So, Prof, what is your advice for the researcher? Should we start commercialize today, or should we do strengthening on the findings on the innovation first, or how? Any advice, Prof, from your side?
Very difficult question, but every product is unique. Every service which has got novelty, which has got an IP. First, you have the IP. But before your IP, you also need to know whether got market value or not for that IP. If no market value, you don't IP. So I think you shouldn't wait. You shouldn't wait. And you should commercialize when the product is market ready.
Okay.
You shouldn't wait, because then you lost opportunity, because there are so many competitors. So we are also having competitors now coming to the market. Low GI, other rice is being produced now locally. Okay. So you need to be first. You need to be first.
Yeah. If
Yeah,
the
don't wait.
potentials, if there is a potential, then wait until tomorrow.
Don't wait, don't wait.
Okay, Prof. One question I think from Mr. Izwan. How many staff are currently in your company? In how much the salary?
That's a very PNC questions, huh?
That one is fancy. You
Yeah,
can
the staff
answer
number,
if you want.
paid staff, salaried staff, we have 5, excluding me. I'm not included. So 5. I think I show you the slide. That's not the staff.
Yeah. So in terms of salary, it's fancy. If you want to know, you apply.
Yeah, you apply. Yeah, if there is an, we advertise in our Facebook or LinkedIn, and then yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
you
think
apply. But big market rate. You'll get your market rate for whatever your qualification and experience. You get market rate.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Okay,
because
Prof,
otherwise
I think
we need to keep the staff. We're training them.
Okay, understand. Okay, Prof, any last words from you to the participants in terms of commercialization of the products?
I think it starts, as I say, from research. You have to, when you write your research proposal, you already have to think, you have to generate new information, new ideas, new novelty. There must be novelty in your findings. And this novelty, that starts from them, and then you see whether there is, as I mentioned, got national relevance. We are addressing some problem in agriculture or in the ecotourism or whatever. We are addressing a problem in health or what. So you need to solve a problem solving kind of research. Fundamental also, both. So try. I think need to, what do you call it, quality, and also in terms of research, quality of research must be high, and also then only you can bring the product to the market. Quality is important. Your team.
Okay, Prof. I think, Prof, we covered all the questions by the participants. I hope everyone have some good insight from our beloved Professor, Prof. Wickneswari, for very good sharing for today. Before we end our webinar, for the participants, please do not forget to complete the attendance form for the e-certificates. Last but not least, I think I would like to invite everyone to open your camera for the photo session. For those,
I see you got 90. Goodness.
Yeah, we got
90 now.
Yeah, it's a very good numbers.
88. Oh, people are leaving.
Yeah, some leaving. Okay, for those can open your cam, you can do so. Dr. Fazlin on screens. Dr. Fazlin. Yeah.
Dr. Fazlin.
Yeah.
Hello. Hi.
Yeah, I the one that contact you previously. Thank you very much, Prof, for joining us today.
I just shared what my experience and some overview.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, everyone. Faris, can you take the photo, Faris? Okay, everyone ready? I think a few.
All right.
Faris.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Again, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you everyone for
much.
the today event. We hope to see you again in our next webinar session. Thank you and have a nice day. Assalamualaikum. Bye bye.
Thank you.